Tonight, officials in Mexico issuing an arrest warrant related to the investigation into the mysterious death of a 25-year-old American tourist last month.
New details in this morning in the death of 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson.
Authorities opened an investigation into the mysterious death of Shanquella.
A North Carolina family is pushing for answers after their 25-year-old daughter died while on a trip to Mexico.
Hello, Sistas Bonafide family. We're happy to be back with you guys with another Let's Chat Sis. This episode is very serious in the topic that we're going to be discussing, and it's about the death of Shanquella Robinson, who recently, back in October, went on a vacation in Mexico with 6 of her friends from college that she knew from college. And they went, and then literally the next day, she was killed. You know, videos have been circulating where Shanquella was being beaten naked by one of her friends, one of her classmates, while other friends recorded it. And what led to her death was that she suffered a broken atlas luxation and a severe spinal cord injuries, which was due to the beating that one of her friends, I use that word loosely in this situation, inflicted on her.
So I'll go over some of the details that I came across just from looking into the situation. So I hear it a lot, like just in reports, like from her family and people who know her, like Shanquella, they say she was very successful. She owned a business. She was just 25 years old, businesswoman and well off, so to speak. So she funded this trip for her frenemies, I guess, let's say, in regards to a birthday celebration. I think 2 of the friends, it was their birthdays were coming up or their birthdays were happening. And so she brought them on this trip she rented out this villa. She paid for it to celebrate their birthdays. So she had 6 friends on the trip with her. Their names were, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing all of them correctly, but their names were Dejanay Jackson, Khalil Cook, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, and Nazir Wiggins. So 3 males and 3 females. So as you mentioned, the young woman caught on video beating Shanquella was Dejanay Jackson. She was the one that was seen to give her like more than 20 blows in the recording. And she is also the one who is being extradited, who they have a warrant out for. However, the friend or the frenemy who was seen delivering the body slam in the second video, that broke her neck and her spine, was Winter Donovan. So that rendered her helpless. Now, from what I understand and from what I gather from just like what her mother was reporting to like different outlets, one of the males, Khalil Cook, he was Shanquella, her mom, this came from Shanquella's mom's mouth. He was the best friend. And I don't know if it's true. I don't know if he was the one, because there was a male recording. I
think that was him recorded, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's said allegedly that Khalil was the one recording the beating. And, you know, as per mom, she said that he constantly in their home, went on family vacations with them. Like, this was her best friend from the group.
Right.
So he was the one that allegedly was recording the beatdown, and also in the process said, like, are you gonna fight back? Like, aren't you gonna fight back? I don't want to quote it, but somewhere along those lines.
Yes.
And so he was also the one who called Shanquella's mom and said that she had alcohol poisoning. And also in that same conversation, then told her that Shanquella had passed away. And Shanquella's mom said that even after the fact, he was in their home keeping up with this story until the autopsy report came back and let them know she was murdered. Then he went ghost. He disappeared. They haven't heard or seen him since, as per Shanquella's mom from the reports that I've seen. Shanquella was, I believe, naked at the time of her beating. And they say allegedly that the friends went and told her that they were going to go skinny dipping. And so that's how they got her to become naked. And they used this opportunity to then do what they
did. Yeah, it's such a horrifying thing. I did just want to go back to what you mentioned about the friends when they called Shanquella's mother to let her know what the first conversation about what was going on. They said that, like you said, that she had alcohol poisoning. Now there was a video or a report that I was watching with Shanquella's mother, and she raised a good point. She was just like, it's in hindsight, she was thinking, how could they have diagnosed her with alcohol poisoning when the doctor wasn't even there at that time to say that? They just said it just to try to save face or to try to make it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal and that she would be fine, even though they had already, like you said, had already known that she had succumbed to her injuries from the beating. So it's like, how could they have said that without even actually, they knew that wasn't the case, obviously, but her mom not thinking, she probably thought, well, okay, this is true because, her so-called friends are saying this, but she's like, the doctor wasn't even on site. So how could they give that diagnosis?
Exactly.
And it's, then I think at the time, the friends, one of her best friend called her mother back and told her that the doctor was there. And Shanquella's mother was like, I want to speak to the doctor. Let me speak to them. And they said, oh, the doctor's working on Shanquella, when none of that obviously was true. So it's a really horrible situation. And I think one of the main issues surrounding this, in my opinion, is like, in terms of whenever they do find the girl, the actual girl who beat Shanquella to death, there's a lot of legalities behind this, because they want to charge her in Mexico, but as you mentioned, which is correct, is that she would have to be extradited. But U.S. law would have to allow her to go back to Mexico and have all of that, have her legally, be charged in Mexico, which, is probably the right thing to do. But, it's still a lot of balls in the air in terms of how this will all be done. And of course, the first step would be to actually find her and get this, fulfill this warrant. And I know that the FBI is currently involved. And Shanquella's mother, I think just the other day, she's getting frustrated because the FBI has just been either nonchalant. They have not been giving her the updates that she needs in order to make this, to put this to bed and kind of like get some answers from them. They have not been taking this as seriously as she wants them to, which, it kind of makes sense to the nature of this crime in terms of her being a Black woman. This is just something that is been written in history. Like, when there's a crime against a Black person or a Black woman in this particular instance, it's not really taken as seriously as it should be. So just wanted to add that. But
people are speculating, like, was this premeditated? I believe it was premeditated. I don't think that something happened here where it prompted them, or there was a situation where they didn't have a choice. So I believe they went on this trip with the intentions to hurt her. Whether it was to the extent that they did or not, I don't know if it was blackmail. She was well off. They knew it. She funded this trip. It could have been blackmail to rob her. It could have been just jealousy, hatred, pure evilness. You know what I'm saying? So that, I think all of that was definitely already present in going on this trip. What I don't understand is how is there a warrant only for Dejanay? That's the thing that is blowing my mind right now. And so I believe they all should be prosecuted. Like, they were complicit, they were accomplices, period. So how is there only a warrant for her, especially when there's a video of Winter, you know, who was the one that was body slamming her in the video, which in fact caused the injuries to her neck and her back. Yep. So that part is blowing my mind. What else I don't understand is how didn't the authorities there, once they got to the scene, whenever they got to the scene, and whenever they came across Shanquella, how didn't they suspect foul play? I don't understand. So to me, there's so much from every angle, like with the people that were involved, the authorities over there. I don't know if it comes down to, like you said, it being a Black woman being killed in Mexico and them not caring to do more. I don't know what it is, but there's no way you have 7 people in total. You come on the scene and one of them is dead or near death. Everybody else is fine. This girl has just been beaten down, but there's no foul play suspected.
Exactly.
Okay. You know, I just don't get how they get to come back, go home, and just go sit at home and everything's fine. Like, where's the questioning? Where's holding them? Where's something? Where is it? I don't, it literally blows my mind.
That's a great point. When the cops arrived at the scene, in the villa, why didn't they take them into custody right then and there? Like, we have to ask questions. Because like you said, there's no reason as to if there's an experienced police officer there that they did not question, like, wait, why is there only one person that's dead here and everybody else is fine and well? Like, there should have been some type of blockage at the border. Like, they could not cross the border until we figure out what happened here.
Exactly.
It doesn't. So that's a great point. It does not make any sense. Like, I don't get that either. And it just goes to show, like, it's just not being taken as seriously from beginning to end. It has not been taken seriously. But at the end of the day, I feel like it was foul play and it was jealousy on their part. I do feel that way. And there was a video that circulated also. I think Shanquella had went on live at one point when they were like in the villa and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And she had went into one of the bedrooms and it was 3 of the girls in the room.
Yes.
And as soon as they saw her come in, like they like looked at her. Mm-hmm. And it's a thing where it's like you have to kind of read the room and understand when the energy is off and the negative energy is toward you. Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, obviously she was a good friend. She cared about her friends. She wanted them to have a good time. And, you know, she funded the trip and everything like that. But they had ill intentions against her from the start. And you could tell that their energy was just off in that video, mm-hmm. in that specific live video. So it's really unfortunate that this young woman had to lose her life because of the situation. But at the end of the day, I feel like every young person or people in general, especially people who have friend groups or, you know, whatever the case is, and that are young and enjoying life and traveling and doing things with friend groups, know who you're traveling with, know the people that you're with. Don't put, you know, especially if you don't really know, if you've never like went on trips with them and stuff like that, you don't really know their background, make sure that you know them. Because at the end of the day, it's, you don't really know what you're being put into, what kind of situation you're being put into. You might think that they're your friends. And in this situation, they obviously were not her friends. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate that this has to happen to her. But I hope that this is an eye opener for a lot of people to see, to just reevaluate your circle and know who you're with, right. Because this is really unfortunate.
I hear you, and I what you said about that specific situation about when she came in the room and like they stopped talking and you know the energy was clearly off. Like, if you feel, you know, and it's so sad, and I say this with caution because, you know, you really try to get into like what she was thinking. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, and it's sad to say because it's sad that we have to live like this, there are people who are just that genuine and that kind and like it's possible. It's possible that she walked in there and was so into what was going on that she did
For
it.
sure.
You know, but I say that to say, if you even feel an inkling or your gut, or even if it's a half of a second, something doesn't feel right, listen to it, get out of there. And then I started thinking that too, like it's because I feel like it's, you know, it's safe to say sometimes when you read these stories, you start thinking like, oh, you have to make sure you choose your friends better. Like you have to know the people, but she knew these people for 5 years. Like she went to college with them. And then especially the young man Khalil, like this was somebody who was her best friend. These people have been to her house. So I think, like I've heard her mom said, you know, her mom didn't know them too well except for the kid, but I guess she felt like that. And it's hard because you don't want to seem like you're victim blaming, like she didn't choose her friends better.
Oh no, of course.
No, you don't want to seem that way. And this story is really being used like a cautionary tale as well. Like, you know, don't put yourself in a situation if you're not sure about the people you're surrounding yourself with. But in this case, I feel like she really in her heart believed that she could trust these people. And she went on vacation with these people and she did this. She funded this vacation because she cared about them. And with that said, it doesn't change the fact that we really have to be careful with who we put our trust into. It goes to show, it's an eye-opener that even upon knowing people for 5 freaking years, 5 years, 4 of which she spent her life going to school with, people are just plain evil. And man, I hope people don't take this the wrong way. But another thing is that, and I'm not saying this was her story, but sometimes people overlook things that happen. People overlook signs.
Exactly.
People sometimes want friends because they're scared of not being liked, or they feel like they'll push certain things aside just so they can have a friend. And I'm not saying this was Shanquella's story. You have to open your eyes and not allow people to take advantage of you. And we have to try and do, you know, a little better with like realizing signs. And I don't know if they've ever done anything grimy to her or shady or anything like that. I'm just saying, even if in a different aspect, don't just because somebody's your friend, don't overlook things that happen. Don't push things to the side. You know, don't give your trust out too easily.
Exactly.
It wasn't her fault that they didn't reciprocate that to her, but it just goes to show you that it does not matter how long you know somebody. It doesn't matter if they're your best friend, if they're your family member. It does not matter. But I'm going to end this with saying that I do believe, I don't care if they watched, I don't care if they didn't put a pinky on her. All of these people, every last one of them need to rot in jail. Her family deserves comfort, peace, swift justice, because it's over a month since she's been gone. What's going on?
What's going on?
So that's it. That's a lot.
It's true. It's true. They, like you said, her family described her as, she wasn't her dad even said, like, she wasn't a fighter. She was a loving person. She wasn't a fighter. And people take that and take it for granted, like you said, and they take advantage of people who are just trying to have a good time and enjoy the people that are with them, enjoy the, you know, her friends and stuff like that. But they had other intentions. And like you said, neither of us know what the dynamic of their friendship was, and how, if there were any signs leading up to this. And maybe sometimes, like you said, we can become blinded by those things and by the aspect of having friends. But this is definitely something that took a turn for the absolute worst. And I hate to say this in a way where like this is a lesson, but and I hate to use that word because I hate the fact that Shanquella had to be the lesson.
Right.
But it just speaks volumes to the fact that we have to be cognizant of who we're around, what's going on. So we have to just be able to read the room and just know when, like you said, when things are going south, try to find a way to remove ourselves from that situation. Unfortunately, Shanquella wasn't thinking about that in that instance because she was thinking about having a good time with her friends, but like we said, they had other intentions. And just to echo what you said, I pray for her family's peace and justice in this case. And I pray that the world takes this more seriously and the authorities take her case seriously, because we can't take this lightly. All of them need to be charged. If you're standing there, you're complicit, you weren't trying to stop the situation, so they need to be charged with whatever high level of degree of whatever sentence they can get. They need to be charged with that. And just rest in peace to Shanquella, and just praying for peace for her family and friends.
We received the autopsy on Thursday evening, and the autopsy told us what had actually happened to her. And so that took it to a whole nother level, because, they're saying that it was alcohol, and alcohol was not the cause of her death.
Yeah.
They jumped on her over there. And if you see the video actually shows that she was not fighting nobody back. She didn't even have a chance. All of them sitting there looking. No one sat, tried to stop it. She had nobody over there to help her,
It was they attacked her, ma'am. It wasn't no physical. They attacked her, ma'am. I mean, it seemed like from my daughter was asleep, ma'am. For all of them to be in that room, and then they come in there like, I don't know, she woke up or whatever. The way it seemed like they attacked her, ma'am, and she naked, ma'am. For a father to see that video, ma'am, because my daughter's not a fighter, ma'am.